What is, what, oh, okay.
Which one do you want me to
No,
do
no.
first?
That one? There's my note taker. It's online. Okay. Tom Lacoste wants to enter. They admit. Okay. So there's me and Tom. And so then if you click up in the top, yeah, up there, it'll make it smaller. Not that one. Try it, not that, there, try that one.
And
There
that's
you
how
go.
you want it to be? Or do you want it to?
No, the next one. We'll leave it like that.
Okay.
Okay. Okay. And then you need to scan to the top for the agenda. There you go. Okay. All right. One last thing, and don't forget, when these guys come up to talk, you're going to hit that
The
button.
Lonely Sailor got it.
Okay.
Good evening and welcome to the Virgin Town Planning and Zoning regular meeting and public hearing. The time is 5:32 and we're going to start our meeting with a pledge of allegiance led by Mr. Kent Peterson.
With me, pledge allegiance to the flag. I
Pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Thank you, Kent. And next we'll proceed with our declaration of conflicts of interest. I'm going to start with Claudia. I have none.
None for me?
And Kent?
No.
All right, thank you very much. The minutes that were in our folder were not these minutes, so we're just going to move the minute approval for July to next month. If that's okay with everyone?
Yep.
Okay, and next we'll move to open forum. Just remember, this is a chance for our public and our community to speak, and there is a 2-minute per speaker. You may talk about anything not on the agenda. Is there anyone who would like to, or who has an open forum comment?
That's good.
Hi.
Now.
I was looking through our ordinances, looking at our permitted uses and our conditional uses, and I feel like they're dwindling. We're getting fewer and fewer uses in the town. And I would strongly encourage you to look at that and realize of what kind of economic impact that's going to have long term. So that's why I asked about that.
Thank you, Chuck. And next we'll move to commissioner comments. Kent, do you have any comments you would like to make?
No.
Lee?
No.
I just have one, and I've had several people come and speak to me or call me about the, what is it called? The substation. And so I will set up a meeting with Riker so we can go over like what the requirements were that we set up for them at our, I believe that was our February approval meeting of their CUP. Okay. So I just wanted to let them know that I was going to follow up on that for them. And Claudia, do you have any comments?
No comments, but I've had several people ask me if I've heard anything more about the road. So I don't know if anyone else has heard Sheep Ridge Road being paved or timing or anything. Nobody's, yeah.
BLM, and they said they're doing
Environmental.
final environmental studies right now.
Oh, okay. Thank you. Thanks.
All right. Thank you. All right. And with that, we have two items before we go on to our public hearing. I usually do an overview of the items on board, and one is the general plan. After making amendments due to, from the feedback we received at our last public meeting and our last work meeting on the topic. And we are also going to be looking and hearing public comment at an ordinance that Riker has put forward to us about text and zoning map amendments, setting up a procedure so that it's consistent within our code and matches state code, which has been currently adjusted. All right. So with that, I'll take a motion to close the public meeting and open the public hearing.
That we close the public meeting and open the public hearing.
Do I have a second?
I'll second it.
All in favor?
Hi.
Aye. Okay. First item up for public hearing tonight is an ordinance amending and restating our Virgin Municipal Code 162330 and 16232 to establish procedures for zoning text amendments and zoning map amendments and providing for related matters. I did not receive any emails. We have no letters in our folder. Are there any public comments on this ordinance?
We're talking about creating a new zone, right?
This is not that.
So this ordinance is merely establishing the application process for zone changes. Previously, that's been not clearly stated in our code, so.
No, good question. It's always good to clarify. All right, are there any other comments on this item for public hearing? Being none, let's move on to our second item, which is an amendment to the Virgin Town General Plan. This is the update we've been working on for quite some time. Are there any public comments on this item?
Next. Okay, down now, see. Sorry, this is gonna sound pretty strong, but okay, you go pretty strong about this. So I work with open houses, I listened to your pitches for the general plan. I took the time to submit detailed input in good faith. Looking at this updated draft, it's clear my concerns were tossed straight into the garbage. This version is virtually identical to the last, save for maybe 3 changes. None of them were good. Instead of addressing the real issues raised by local property owners, you doubled down, inserting even more restrictions on view sheds and more wording about dark skies. We aren't naive. We know exactly what this general plan is designed to do. It lays out legal groundwork for future ordinances meant to strip us of our property rights. As major landowners in this town, we do not consent to the sensitive land designation or refusal to address that washes can be mitigated. If you think that it can arbitrarily slap sensitive land designations across our property to stop development, you need to think again, or this town will be walking directly into a lawsuit. Furthermore, claiming in the document that nobody wants growth south of the river is not true. I know you guys listened to Alan Lee. He has most of the property. And I think his concerns should be addressed. Both the mayor and Darlene have openly admitted to Chuck and I that they don't want any growth in the town. You're governing strictly for yourselves and the select few, while completely ignoring the long-term landowners who built this community. My father and others worked their tails off to make this town place worth living in, good enough that every single one of you chose to live here. Now that you've settled, you want to slam the door shut and lock the consultant who built it out of using their own land. I strongly recommend that the Finance and Commission review and make some changes to this general plan before voting to send it to the town. Thank you.
Thank you.
Wait. Go ahead, I'm still showing.
Oh. Tell me. Chuck Massler, Bergen County Business and Development Alliance. I'm gonna send this letter to all council members and everybody, so we're not wasting paper.
Thank you.
I'm ready to formally express my serious concerns regarding the latest draft of proposed deal. In reviewing the draft, several critical gaps and concerns stand. Lack of economic growth strategy. Where in this draft are private sector job creation and local business incentives addressed? A vibrant community requires a forward-looking strategy that supports sustainable economic growth. Over regulation versus encouragement. This plan fails to encourage balanced development and conversion. On the contrary, it creates additional barriers by imposing restrictive over-regulation that dampens economic opportunity and property rights. Transparency and redlining. I hope I'm getting that term right. Redlining is where you see all drafts side by side so you can see what's been changed. Why have the proposed changes not been provided in red line form without a clear line by line comparison against existing general plan? Not the draft, the existing general plan is adopted in 2018. Should be all seen side by side. It is nearly impossible for residents, property owners, and officials to evaluate precisely what is being altered, added, or I strongly urge the town council and planning commission to pause the adoption process, provide a fully redline comparison of the current plan versus the draft, and reopen discussions to amend our existing general plan rather than replacing it. And that's the letter that basically we got a town plan that's going to be, and I feel like it would be beneficial to everyone in town if we actually saw it side by side. Because as it is right now, luckily she has the notes that she made at the meeting 6 or 8 months ago, just copied. Otherwise, she wouldn't even be able to see what changes have been made since then. I think people need to know what changes have been made and understand them in order to get input and feedback. Not just the select few that might have this going on. So my other suggestion is when something is that big as a general plan is on the agenda, I understand that it's a public notice that goes out. But unless you're signed up to the public website, I'm guessing that a large percentage of the town is not. You would need to know about this thing. So the general public that aren't necessarily have their eye on the ball 100% of the time, not working and raise kids, they should know that this is a meeting that they may want to attend. They may want to put their input in once they have information for you. So I just don't feel like the information is clear enough, and I don't think that we are giving everyone in town an opportunity, short of them trying to keep track of what's going on in the town. Okay. Let's look at thanks for your time, consideration, thanks for.
Thank you, Chuck.
Thanks, Chuck.
Are there any other comments at this moment from the public? And hearing none, I will take a motion to close the public hearing and open the public meeting.
I move we close the public hearing and open the public meeting.
Do I have a second?
I'll second it.
All in favor?
Aye.
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 All right. So there were no comments on the text and zone change item to clarify from the public to reduce confusion. Is there anything you wanted to point out while we have members of the public here on this item?
Just to further explain that this ordinance comes as a result of changes in state code. The state is now requiring that application requirements or application checklists be listed on the town's website and backed up by the town's code. And so as a result of that, we've taken this process that previously has been combined into one process and separated into two distinct processes with their own application requirements, rather than creating confusion between the two. So it's not too crazy, but it's just a clarification on
And
the
they kind of
application
parallel
requirements.
each other. If you've read the ordinance, they do kind of parallel.
Yeah.
And we will be discussing this item thoroughly next week at our work meeting for a vote in
That's just-
September.
Yeah.
So,
Let's see.
all right. Does any other commissioner have anything that they would like to comment on this particular item?
Keep going. Keep going.
I have one question about it. Just,
There we go.
I read it, but it's been a week or two.
Mhm.
Does it mention, we've had trouble in the past where overlay zones were passed without the same procedure that a regular zone change requires, and I don't know if there's anything in the text of that to mention an overlay rezone.
So this would not govern that portion of the code necessarily. It would depend on how specific overlay zones were written. So essentially it would be dependent upon the overlay zone code to call on this process to be required for the change, if that makes sense.
It does, but I think that the existing overlay zones have, or at least some of them specifically say that one of the steps is to get the rezone from the town.
And so if that were the
So-
case, then it would have to follow this process.
Okay, I see.
It would be good to reread that section of code prior to our meeting next week, though.
Yeah.
Okay. Any other thoughts? Claudia?
Thank you.
Kent? No? All right, thank you. And then the last item for our discussion tonight is discussion and possible recommendation of the Virgin Town Plan. I would have to respectfully point out that I believe, as does our consultant from 5 counties, believe, because I asked him this, that we more than adequately reached out to the town, more than adequately offered them a chance at giving additional input once the initial input stage, which is very different from what was done at the previous plan, which was never put out for any public input after the initial general meetings. I just want to clarify for the record that I am not anti-growth. I am about balanced growth. Since my name was specifically, and we will be respectful, as I was to anyone who makes a comment. Even in the last one, we made more than 2 or 3 changes, and we actually documented those changes as we had a robust discussion. And when we actually made the changes in the document, we linked them in our notes to whoever made that comment.
Mhm.
And I believe we had changes from almost everybody's comments of the very last hearing that we had. So I just wanted to clarify that. And this is a new general plan, so it will be replacing, and it's not a matter of the redlining. It's not,
It's not an edited
no,
old
not an
plan.
edited. It's a start
It's a
from
brand new
scratch.
thing.
And once again, in the previous reiteration, that was not done either.
No.
The changes were not done. That was not done. Um, that's all I have to say. I think that my personal belief is we've put a lot of effort to hear people, and this document is ready for the next step.
Can I? say something?
Absolutely. I'm going to call each of you.
I don't know how many people observed all of this, but when we first started working on this, we went through, what do they call them? Element by element. And we had a lot of debate over each thing. And lots of people, lots of viewpoints were represented and negotiated. And so what you have in front of you now is the result of a lot of sort of compromise and, investigation and all of those things. Yes, it's been a long time since we started this project. So, I mean, I don't know if anybody even remembers the early days of it, but it was very active, the whole debate. So I just wanted to point that out. And also that this is not something that we are going to adopt as rules. It's an advisory document. So it doesn't have a whole lot of effect on whatever regulations are existing in town. So, or new ones that come up. That's it for me.
Kent, do you have any comments on this item?
Yeah, I agree with what's said. It's been a lot of hard work and a lot of thought and compromise in this plan that's being sent to the town. We're voting to send it to the town or not. I do think that Chuck makes an interesting comment that maybe we can work with, and that would be that there are a lot of people that just aren't interested in this kind of stuff, and there are people that don't know how to find out about it if they become interested or something like that. But I know that the mayor in the town is really, really good about giving opportunity for people for comment in her newsletter and on the website. And I wondered, if there could be some recommendation that in maybe the newsletter that comes to everybody for their utility bill says that how they can get online, or they can come into the town office and get a copy of the proposed document that.
And we've done that. We've had hard copies available in the office for those who are not familiar with digital access or don't have it.
So I'm recommending again for the same thing that the town have available a comment about the general plan as they discuss it, if not now, that people could be helped to get a copy of it or be able to find it online if they don't know how, or if somebody could help them do that. So we have, as you say, worked to this to a very tiring point, and we're anxious to move it forward to the town council
Get their
and
opinion.
to the mayor. And I'm certainly voting for that.
Is that all?
Yeah.
Okay. Claudia?
I was thinking about it when Chuck was talking about it. I love the idea of putting it more frequently in the newsletter about the town meetings. I know that it's everywhere and it's always the same, but I was that person that was always traveling for my work and family, and I was always gone. And so when I was in town, I was trying to catch up. I really, at the time, didn't understand the difference between town council and planning and zoning. And I've only been in this role for 4 months, so I have not worked as hard on this as all you have. So, but I do remember, even with all of my traveling and going in and seeing all the work that you guys have done. I know that you've talked about it. I know that you've had discussions. So I feel like as much as I was out of town for work, I was aware of it. So I think people who live in this town should have the ability and the energy and the interest to jump in. So I think one more time, and maybe it's a final blurb on that newsletter every week to remind people about it, or every month, sorry. I think that would probably be super helpful for people like me who didn't know it until I got into this role, pretty much. So I think it'd be very helpful. But I feel like you've worked really hard on it. I think you've made every opportunity available to people. And I know that when I first moved here, there was no access to things. So I feel really good about the work that's been done.
Are there any further comments? Riker, do you have anything to add on this item? I know that you weren't intimately involved in it, but I just wondered.
Yeah, I
Wanted
haven't
to give
been
you an opportunity as well.
too involved in this process. My only note is that as we've discussed potential future amendments to the plan, that we just ensure that we continue to get public input and make sure that that's incorporated into the document. So.
Absolutely. All right, if there are no further comments, I will take a motion for a vote on this. Do you have a further comment? Or-
No, I'd like to make a motion.
Oh, Kent. All
I'd like
right.
to move that we move the recommend we move the amendment for the Virgin Town General Plan as discussed to the town council.
Do I have a second?
I'll second it.
I'm going to do a voice vote on this. Claudia?
Aye.
Darlene, aye. Lee?
Aye.
Kent?
Aye.
All right, that is the final item for our meeting. And unless there's something I don't know about, it's not listed here, I will take a motion to adjourn.
I will move that we adjourned.
Second?
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
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 Thank you, everyone. Have a good evening.